The number one most dangerous intersection in the northwest, it's a repeat offender, I'm afraid. We're seeing people navigating through an intersection that they don't even necessarily realise it's a roundabout.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Matthews, RACV Motoring Editor. Today I'll be joined by RACV Head of Policy, James Williams, to unpack the results of our 2025 My Melbourne Road Survey. This year we asked the community to tell us which intersections in Melbourne they find the most dangerous. More than 12,000 people responded, so stay tuned to find out which intersections were voted the most dangerous in northwest Melbourne. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, share and subscribe and tell us in the comments which intersection do you think is Melbourne's most dangerous. James Williams, thanks for joining us today. Northwest Melbourne, what are the issues there?
And this is where we had a lot of participants engaged in the survey, along with the northeast. The third most dangerous intersection was Maribyrnong Road and Epsom Road in Moonee Ponds. The second most dangerous intersection in the northwest was Mount Alexander Road and Ormond Road, up there in Ascot Vale. But the number one most dangerous intersection in the northwest, it's a repeat offender, I'm afraid. It's the Mount Alexander Road, Keilor Road and Lincoln Road there in Essendon.
Yes, I'm familiar with that one, but what are the issues that people raised when it came to that intersection?
Well, if you have a look at that intersection, there's a lot going on there in Essendon. It's an activity centre. That's probably the first aspect to think about. So this is a destination. This is where people go to shop, to dine. There's a large shopping centre as well as a petrol station just off the side there. And then you have three significant roads all coming together, as well as a turning tram. And this is a tram that turns into Keilor Road without any set of traffic lights. There's some flashing lights to tell you there's a tram coming and turning, but not a great deal more. And because it's an oblong-shaped intersection, or roundabout, I should say, we're seeing people navigating through an intersection that they don't even necessarily realise it's a roundabout. It's not necessarily obvious or intuitive to a motorist that they even need to give way to the right, as well as navigating all the various points, not just the roads, but the shopping centre exit and entrance, as well as getting in and out of the service station. We're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of complexity in an area that's high density, a lot of pedestrian traffic. We're also seeing that the traffic lights, the pedestrian crossings in particular, aren't necessarily where you'd expect to see them at the start or the end of the intersection, as well as, unfortunately, some road safety behaviours that have stemmed from the frustration or the inability to navigate through what is a very complex intersection.
So, and you talked about it being a repeat offender. Does that mean it's come up before on previous surveys and solutions haven't been implemented?
That's right. So the last My Melbourne Road campaign was in 2023, and the Mount Alexander Road intersection at Keilor and Lincoln Roads there, it was the number one intersection identified. So we know it's a problem. Government knows it's a problem as well. It has consulted in the past on potential solutions, and we're confident that government will do something with Mount Alexander Road and Keilor Road there in Essendon. It's just a question of what and when, and getting the appropriate funding and prioritisation for what is clearly a problem.
And do we have any ideas of solutions that we're going to be presenting to government?
Absolutely. So there's a few things that we can do around Mount Alexander Road and Keilor Road. One of the first things we can do is make it more obvious, more visually obvious to motorists and pedestrians and cyclists that there is a tram turning through the intersection. That's absolutely key there. And we probably also need to have a look at the number of roads going in and out of that intersection. And we have to ask ourselves the question, well, do we need to close one or two of them off so that we can have that through traffic without necessarily the complexity of right turns and additional vehicles entering into and exiting the intersection?
So it sounds like with an intersection like that one that's a repeat offender, some fairly difficult decisions are going to need to be made.
Not necessarily. I think there's some things that we can do that is quite simple. So, for example, if you're turning left into the shopping centre from the north there on Mount Alexander Road, there's a gradient. There's quite a significant dip up to get into the shopping centre car park. And that's causing problems for the motorists and therefore a road safety issue further back. There's also some very simple things we can do with signalling and lights, traffic lights, as well as signage. But absolutely, in the longer term, it is a big investment, but clearly a very dangerous intersection.
If you're enjoying this video, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. We post new RACV videos every day, so hit subscribe and press the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest motoring, home and travel content.
If I can turn the tables for a minute, Andrea, I'd love to ask you a question. Having safer vehicles is so important. You're the motoring editor at RACV. Interested in your view on what's coming up in the new vehicle technology space to really reinforce safer intersections in Melbourne.
What we've seen in the last few years is the rapid adoption of advanced driver assistance systems across a range of vehicles. So it's no longer technology that's just fitted to high-end luxury cars. The most affordable cars on the market are being fitted with a system of cameras and radars designed to keep drivers and motorists and also pedestrians safer on the roads. So we're talking about things like blind spot warning, which will let you know if there's a vehicle kind of approaching in your blind spot where you perhaps can't traditionally see them in a wing mirror, right through to technology which will actually help you to get out of that issue where the car is seeing an issue and it's potentially helping you and steering you out of that situation. Hyundai and Kia are coming up with technology like junction assist. So if you're choosing to turn right out of a junction, it will actually sound an alert if it senses that a car's approaching too quickly and potentially even steer you out of that situation as well, or apply the brakes to make sure that you don't engage in a collision. There's a whole bunch of systems that are coming to cars now designed to keep motorists safe, but also focused on pedestrians, on cyclists.
And how does somebody make a decision about the best safety features in a vehicle? How do you make a call on that as a consumer? How do you know what's out there and what a car offers? And are we seeing an increase in price because of these features?
There's not necessarily an increase in price, and that's really encouraging. I think we're seeing a lot of new brands coming to market, and their price of entry is a 5-star ANCAP rating. So if you've got that 5-star ANCAP rating, you can be assured that it's got an appropriate level of technology. What we are also seeing is that not all car companies implement that technology in the same way. So some systems work differently to others. Some of them are known to be a little bit annoying, perhaps if there are too many bleeps and bongs letting you know that you're perhaps not the world's best driver. But there are other systems which perform better for our road conditions. So there's assessment that's ongoing, looking at that technology, looking at how it's implemented in the country to make sure that it works for everybody. But of course, not every driver has access to the latest technology. So there's some basic things that people can do to keep themselves safe on the road. And that's as simple as making sure that their seat's set up correctly and that they've adjusted their mirrors so they can see around the vehicle. It's a basic thing, but it's something that everybody needs to do, particularly if you're sharing a vehicle with another driver. You need to make sure that your seating position is correct and you've got that vision around the car. That includes adjusting your rear view mirror and also your side mirrors as well. Also, other basic things like making sure that your windscreen's nice and clean and that your headlights are polished. All of those things can help you see in the dark, can help you see through intersections, and will just keep you safe on the road. James, have you got any messages for the people that took the time to complete the survey?
Well, certainly a gratitude and thanks to the 12,300 road users that took the time to participate in RACV's campaign. And we will take those results and advocate for improvements to government. But also a message to everyone that road infrastructure is key, it's vital. We all want safer roads and safer intersections across Victoria. But road safety is with everyone, and it's absolutely important that we all drive safely and be conscious and mindful of other road users, particularly vulnerable road users like pedestrians and bike riders on our roads.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, Andrea.
And there you have it, the most dangerous intersections as voted by you. If you want to see how other parts of Melbourne ranked, subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the full results of the My Melbourne Road Survey. Were you surprised by the results? Which intersections do you think need urgent attention? Let us know in the comments, and if you found this video useful, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. We post new RACV videos every day, so hit subscribe and press the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest motoring, home and travel content. Thanks for watching and stay safe on the roads.